All right. Another day of just me building out a Zoho CRM, just kind of building out based off of some scenarios that I run into and taking questions and showing you how to's if you want, or just answering questions. But yeah, so yesterday I was building out for a couple situations. So looks like they deal with flyers, physical flyers instead of like emails and things like that, and then phone calls. Today, I want to try and build out the texting and email side. Yesterday, I did some build out for workflows, so some automation, some, and I'm going to share my screen here in a sec. Here, I'll share my screen right now. Here we are. Okay. So, and then let's see. So, kind of some like, yeah, like true and falses and things like that. Performing calls, doing some automation. Um, Built out a workflow that all right, where did I put that? Here. Let's see. Oh, here it is. All right. Yeah. So once they've marked that they've made one call, it creates a task to reach out again. Once they mark that they've marked it, that they called out a second time, they mark, it sends them one more task to call out a third and final time. From there, they pretty much just take the lead and add notes and inactivate it from there. So they'd be able to call once, call twice, 3 times. They could change their status from attempted to contact down to inactive. They can even have it working if they want. Just depending. I'm assuming it's going to depend on whether they answer or not. So, yeah, because once they answer, it looks like they're just reading a script from there, which I don't know what the script is, but I did make a section to show that you could do a while on call, call log. If they answered, they could mark a call log, flyer sent, yes or no, when was it sent. Looks like they go through needing a consultant, so I might mark that. Yeah, they can mark whether they need a consultant here. Log call length. So I kind of made a call, when it was, what time. An increment call count. Link to CRM for reporting. And that's the thing, is I don't know if Five9 can sync the call count. Let me check something here. Feel free to ask any questions you have. I'm just kind of building out here. I guess it's funny because every time I see somebody watching and then I'm like, oh, hey, ask your questions. And then they leave right away. And I'm like, oh, I'm just in the middle of talking. It's okay. Let's actually find out, because I know there's Five9 is a big one. is a big one that a lot of companies use. So let's take a look here. So, so they can push the call log, which we know. Okay, so it looks like along with the call log, it will do the count. So I'm going to verify that here. Call count. Okay, so looking at the documentation. Yeah, looking at the documentation, looks like it is going to be possible. So that's a good thing. Okay. Okay, perfect. So what I'll do then, bear with me one sec here. Oops. Okay, bear with me one sec. I gotta fix something here. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Bear with me one second. I gotta fix something. Okay, so I have to fix this real quick. Um, okay. No. No. Maybe no. This one, no. Meanings. Past. No, not that one. Analytics. Give me one sec here. Un momento, por favor. Oh, here we go. Okay, so I want the one on 420. I'm kind of just fixing something here real quick. So that one was EMBED at where are you? Okay. So that was Sharia. Okay, sorry. All right. So anyway, okay, so I want to, so knowing that the count can push over, I want to make sure that there's a field to go into. And so what I'm going to do is edit this layout. And then I'm going to add a field for that count to go to. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask me. I'm just kind of building out, answering questions, helping you if you need help with anything. Thanks for watching. Okay, so I want the 5.9 to not only push the call log, but also add the count. So now the count could possibly go in with the call log, but just in case, what I'm going to do is add a number here and do call count here. So this way, when the information pushes through from 5.9, it can be mapped and it can go there in case it's not part of the call log itself, right? So as a matter of fact, so here yesterday I put, no answer left the voicemail, but what I didn't add was a call. And so this is kind of how I start, just kind of showing demo prepping to show, hey, here's how you're going to, what this is going to do or look like once it's all set up, right? Hello, welcome in. Feel free to ask any questions. Let's say first call attempt, outbound, completed. Let's just say, I don't know, 10 a.m., 5 minutes, let's say, only because actually, yeah, completed. And let's say we did that. Today's the 13th. Okay, well, let's say we did that on the 12th. I don't know. I forgot what I put the note on, but this is just for demo purposes anyway. Call results, not interested, no response, busy. Let's do no response, busy. Left a voicemail. Oops. Left a voicemail. Okay. There we go. And this is kind of just showing, the lead starting to build up, as if somebody was working the lead. They're starting to capture information. You can see in the timeline all that information building from adding notes, tasks, doing the call attempt and things like that, right? So we can see the lead building up, right? But there needs to be more to happen. So right now we have triggers happening for attempted calls, first call, second call, third call. Now, third call, there really doesn't seem like they have something triggered for a third call. It's mainly I switch it to third attempt. If they don't answer, I'm going to mark as processed and set to inactive, right? And then let's see. And then they, figure out if they've exhausted all methods of outreach, but that also includes text messaging and emails. So let's do, now the texting is going to be interesting because they're going to have a third party. Well, actually, no, I think 5.9 does have a texting option. So kind of like the flyer, we can add in attempted text first time, second time, third time. But at the same time, That could also be saved in 5.9. So I guess my question to them is going to be whether they want to save it in 5.9 or not, right? Because there's a number of things you can do here. I can say, I can add a field like this, right? Or I could do something where, since they are doing flyer, email, text, or call, right? So email, text, 1, 2, 3, yeah. Email, text, phone call, or flyer. We could do a subform. So let me, let's do that real quick, because that could actually be another option to show as well. Because you could, I mean, there's going to be several ways you can do something. It's just finding the one that best fits for your needs. So if I were to do a subform, right, I could do this. And I can say, I can call it outreach. What if we do form of outreach, right? Standard, static, maximum. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it to where I could just come to this subform and mark, okay, this was a text. This is how many times I attempted. Responses, yes or no, add in notes, right? So I could say, I could do a pick list of, I could do a pick list and say, what would I call it? Connection type. Form of outreach, trying to think of the right word. Medium type, maybe. Okay, yeah, medium type. I mean, obviously they can call it whatever they want, but I'm trying to make it make sense. So I could say call, phone call, text, email, flyer, right? Email, text, phone call, flyer. I'm going to leave flyer last since it's a physical medium. I'm going to do colors just because I like colors. They're fun. The phone calls, I don't know. What are phone calls? Phone calls, I feel light blue with phone calls. Text messages, I feel dark blue with text messages. Kind of like maybe that color. Email, email to me feels more yellowy. Like maybe that yellow. Yeah. Flyer feels grayish, whitish. So I'm going to do like a grayish. Okay, so we'll do that. So I attempted to reach out via email. Let's say response received, yes or no? Response received. Notes. Communication notes. Do I need anything else? I could add the needs consultation. Yeah, I could add that. So I could add that as a checkbox as well. Needs consultation. Because the goal is to show them, look, you could do it this way or you could do it this way, right? I'm going to put this here. Call log. So we could add that here. Yeah, we're going to add that here. So we did notes, needs consultation, call log. So we did a date time for that. Probably won't let me do duplicates, will it? Oh, okay. Well, since it's a subform, I guess it would be fine. Okay. Call log, date and time. Actually, this would be more like an outreach log, right? Because even if it's outreach log, right? Because the note could be like attempted to call, but there was a voicemail. Date and time is when I made that call, right? So I don't think it shows like that when it's actually working, but so I mean I could do like I texted, response received, communication notes. Okay, let's see how this looks. So let's save that. Okay, let's see how that looks. Okay, so what the heck? Do I need a refresh? Okay, perfect. So, in addition to, you know, adding the information here, needs consultant, whatever it is, I could add a row and I could say, okay, so I attempted a phone call. I didn't receive a response, needs consultation. I don't know. Let's say there was no response, so I don't know if there's a consultation. Left voicemail. This was, I outreached yesterday at 11 a.m. Log that call, right? Log that. Can I don't know if it's possible. Oh, I can. Okay. Wonder if I can save that way. Can I save it that way? I should be able to, right? Let me bring this in a little bit. The pick list I could probably bring in right about there. I'm trying to make it look pretty as well. Let's refresh this. Okay. Bear with me one sec. Un momento. Okay. Okay, that looks way better. Okay, so, and then I could add my second attempt, right? Phone call, no response. Second attempt, left voicemail. And let's say that was on the next day. which was today at, what time is it? It's 11 a.m. right now. I'll say 11 a.m. Mark that, right? So I can track, I can log each one here as well, to kind of show a history of it, even though we'll be able to see a timeline with here. Like I could always go timeline and see how many times that was switched to, called once. When was it set to call twice, right? But I'd have to go into the timeline. This right here would at least show me physically here I attempted 3 times, right? So, I can always say today was a second attempt. So now I'm going to set this to called twice, right? But I have that log right here as well. And then tomorrow I can always say, flyer sent, add a row of flyer, and I can just keep going from there, right? So, dismiss. So, so not only I can have it there and then have the tasks create for me, I'm also logging those calls, which they shouldn't have to do this manually anyway because they are using 5.9. So the call is going to automatically log anyway, but I do want to give it a visual. So second call attempt, outbound completed 11 a.m. today, 5 minutes. No response. Second call attempt, left voicemail. Okay. Right. So it's kind of building here, right? All right. So the next thing that they want to do now, the text messages is going to be different, only because that's going to be done from a third party, right? But those text messages will still be able to be logged, and it'll probably log it as a note. An increment text count, text complete, right? But again, they can come here, add a row, and say, text response received, needs a consultant, responded to text message. I don't know, would like to set up a call next week, right? So it's kind of looking like this. So I can say, hey, that was done today at 11:15. 11:15. Something like that, right? One sec, I'm getting a notification. Da, 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 da. Oh, okay. Never mind. Okay. Right. So this is kind of just showing what's going on here, right? The email, did we email 3 times? The email can be done a couple different ways. They can just come here and send an email, create a template, whatever it is, right? Maybe it's new retailer outreach. Yeah, let's do that one. Now, I don't know because they can always choose email as well here. I wonder if I haven't thought of this before. I wonder if I can have a trigger based off of an email being sent in a workflow. This would be a lead. So this would be record action. I would say edit specific fields. Any field in specific section gets modified. Let's try this one. Lead information while on call. So while on call is a different ones. So like lead information, right? This kind of stuff, but that's not what I want. So address information, lead information. So I don't want that. So when can we do email? Oh, email. It says email not empty. Oh no, this is talking about the email field, not so the value, right? So no, that's talking about the email field. Opt out. Yeah, I would have to create a trigger like a checkbox email sent checkbox in order to trigger that, right? So I would need to do something like I wonder if I can. I wonder if I can make. Let's see what I can make the dependent. Whoops. Preferred contact method, lead source, lead status, call amount, medium type. Okay, so it needs to be a pick list in order for me to do it. So what I could do, check this out. So what I could do is when I choose email from the pick list, I could say show a drop down that says first attempt, second attempt, third attempt. And I can do a trigger based off of that. But that drop down won't show unless. But I could also do the same thing with when they go to the record, right? Oops. Clicking too fast. So what I could do is I could say, if I choose a phone call, I can have a drop down appear that says first attempt, second attempt, third attempt. I place another phone call, first attempt, second attempt. And the reason for that would be because the trigger won't be able to say, well, I guess the trigger will trigger every time I select phone call. So trigger phone call, but it won't know if it's the third or fourth attempt. It'll just keep triggering. So I need something for it to say, this is the third attempt. Don't send another task that says call a fourth time. But if I make it to where it triggers based off of first attempt and second attempt, like I am up on the top where it says call amount. Instead, I can add it in this subform to where no matter what I choose, phone call, text, I'm going to have something that says first, second, or third attempt. I'm trying to think if that would pose any problems. Because I can always make the rule say phone call, if phone call, and if first attempt, if phone call, and if second attempt, or if text and first, to kind of give it that rule logic, so it knows as long as it meets these two criterias, it's going to do something, right? I'm trying to think if that poses any issues. So, I mean, if I do just first, second, and third attempt, it doesn't matter whether it's a phone call, text, or not. It's going to send a message or create a task. Will it matter? But I would want the task to say, if it's a first phone call attempt, a text, or anything, because they do have rules for what's happening, right? So they're checking to see if you attempted to text 3 times. They checking to see if you emailed 3 times. So they need something to show what it was. So I think that logic that I'm thinking of would work best. So if I do a pick list, oops, I don't know why I did that. And I'll leave that. So I would do a pick list, attempt count, first attempt, second attempt, third attempt, so first, second, and third attempt, enable colors because I like colors, as you know. First attempt, let's do dark green, dark yellow, and red because that is when they get set to inactive. Now I could add the inactive here, but I think I'm going to leave the inactive here. Now, what I will tell them is, well, I mean, I would present the options, right? Like you can either go with this subform or you can go up here because I think it's a little redundant to say, put first attempt here, but also put how many attempts up here. It's a little redundant and too much. So I think what I'm going to do is present like, hey, you could do it either this way or you could do it this way. Whatever feels right for you, right? So I think that's how it should be, because I don't think you should have it on there more than once. I mean, why would you want to spend time marking it here? This was the first attempt here, and also mark it here. That's too much. So let's move this like this. Right there should be good. So now I'm going to say map dependencies. Now this is how you can make it to where if email is chosen, choose this. If this is chosen, choose that, right? So, and they have a third attempt on all of them, right? Do we have a third time? Third time, yep. On email, text. Did we try 3 times? The only one it doesn't look like they have a try 3 times is the flyer, right? It just says, did we send 1 flyer? So I don't think I will. I don't think I will add the dependency for the flyer, because if I'm logging flyer here, I'm pretty much saying that the flyer was sent out. Otherwise, why would I be recording it, right? Now up here, I'm saying, hey, was the flyer sent out? Yes or no. So I could even, I could even remove flyer from here and just have it recorded up here, since this isn't going to have like a map dependency. Or I could leave it in case they want to log, did they receive a response from the flyer? Do they need a consultant? What were the notes from it? And so on and so forth, right? Or flyer sent, no, so they can see no, it's not sent yet. Flyers, but if it's check marked, they can see the flyer was sent on whatever date, right? Like the 8th, right? Um, I don't like that time. I'm going to do 8 a.m. I'm thinking of like USPS type of thing. But with the other ones, I would have a dependency. So I feel like this is kind of a separate thing here. I don't know why. But at the same time, they can always say, flyer if they call back or something like that. How do I get rid of this? Oh, there we go. Okay. All right. Well, for now, let's map the dependencies for now. Okay, so it's going to be call medium. Come on, stupid thing. Okay, so call medium. Dun, 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 dun. And then child field is attempted count. So this is telling me that no matter what medium I choose, the account is going to show up. So maybe I will remove flyer. I mean, they can always just. Oh, actually, no, here. Okay, what is this? Okay, so phone call. So this one. This one. Can I. None, maybe? Let's see what this does. Okay, so it'll just say none, which I don't care for. I think I may just remove flyer. But let's see what it looks like. So, none. Phone call. So is it saying what to show? Like first, second, third attempt? Text, first, second, third attempt. Email, first, second, third attempt. I think that's what it might be doing. Actually, if that is the case, I could change the wording on this and add one that says like, let's see what that does. So let's refresh this. Right, so phone call, first, second, third. Okay, so can I delete these? I'm just going to delete them. Start these over. So, so I can add a row. See, I don't like that it's there. I don't want it to visibly be there, but whatever. So I could say phone call, first, second attempt. So first attempt, response received, no answer, left a voicemail. What was this one I was going to make? The 12th. And then if I say I made a phone call, this is my second attempt. Response received, consultant would like to set up a consultant call next week. Let's say that was today. Okay. But now I know that, see, if I click flyer, it's only going to have first attempt. So I could limit the choices. Now I could say flyer sent. I mean, first attempt, there's only ever going to be one attempt for a flyer, it looks like. So I could just change it to first flyer. I think first attempt is fine, whatever. Right. I don't know. Anyway, that's just an example. So I'm going to leave that because they can word it and use it how they want. Now this again, call log, on-call notes, because the same thing can happen here. We could get rid of this because we have the call log here. We can add a call count to the end. On call notes. So the notes are here. We could add a call count, right? Or we can get rid of this section and just add a call count up here. So either way, these are basically 3 different ways of doing it. And if I said, so the point of me doing that was to try and see if I can email attempts, record action, edit, specific field. So I want to say what do I want to say here? No. Let's see. Okay. Please don't call log, call count. Call count? Oh no, because we're doing email. Whoops. Consumer country description. So okay, email opt out, email estimated value. That doesn't say email estimated value, but yeah, no, this is regarding the field. Estimated. So we have the flyer sent on, like if we had a checkbox, how contact was made. What is this? Oh, that's yeah, okay. Industry interested in. Needs consultant. So it doesn't seem like it is recognizing from my subform. Only fields. Um, any field in a specific section gets modified. Okay, so that's interesting. So because it's not recognizing my subform, right? If I were to trigger it based off of an email being sent, clicking too fast again. If I were to trigger it based off of an email being sent, I would have to have a field out here and not in here, right? Because form outreach, right? It doesn't seem like it's even recognizing form outreach, the subform. Same thing if I did a specific field, form outreach, right? So even if I did any field gets modified, which leads would you like to apply the rule to? So let's say, let's look at these. How contact was made. Leave status, leave outside. Yeah, so it doesn't look like it does not look like it's recognizing. I mean, because even if I type in form or medium type, or even attempt count, right? It's not recognizing anything in the subform. So I would have to record action, edit, any field, specific field, attempt count. Yeah. So it is possible, but I would have to do it in a different way. So I would have to say, I would have to mark if an email was sent. Can I, what if I do this? What if I put it outside of the subform, right? Like a checkbox, right? So I can't put it in there. Did I put it in there? No. Okay. So then, yeah, so I would have to. But the problem with that is I need it to know how many emails are being sent out, right? Trying to think what other possible way we can do this. The goal is the goal is to attempt to send an email at least 3 times. Have that email logged and increment the text count, the email count, right? We could, let's see if this is possible. What if when it came time to reaching out to them, I enrolled them into a cadence, right? So for the lead, I'm going to manually enroll them. So the first email will be sent out upon immediately, right? First email attempt. And I want it to go to the lead's email. I'm just going to choose a random template. Doesn't matter what one it is. Save an associate. So then I'm going to send a second email. Once that email is sent, I'm going to wait 2 business days after the previous email is sent. Second email attempt. It's also going to go to the lead's email. My computer. And then I'm going to choose that, save an associate. And then once again, 2 business days after the email is sent, the previous email is sent, third and final attempt. And then the lead's email. Select a random one. Okay, so these are the 3 attempts, right? I can say send the initial email 2 days after the initial email is sent, send the follow-up email. But I could also say, also create a task. Let's say, after previous email is, let's say, opened, right? Opened or clicked. I can say, if recipient responded, remove from cadence. Now, I mean, I guess that could be a fair task. It could also be like, hey, they opened and clicked. Do I want to also create a task that says, hey, reach out to them, right? Reach out to them or something, right? Okay, let's leave this off for now because I do want to see something. So I'm going to. What else? Is it going to save it? Yeah, emultimates. Okay. So let's go over here real quick. And let's take a look at the cadences. Now, if I'm going to create this as a cadence, I'm going to want it to be, I want it to be one of the first things I see, right? So cadence. And I'm going to move the email up as well because I think I want to see the emails after cadences since it's part of the reach out process. So I would be able to enroll them in the cadence. And I'm going to try this just because I want to test something. Okay, got it. Enrolled, but now I want to say, now I want to unenroll them, right? Can I refresh this? So I see they're logged into a cadence. Completed date, date made their name, enrolled. Cadence status stopped. Why is the cadence status stopped? I don't know why. Unenrolled, member status, and enrolled. Last follow-up response failed. Probably because it's not a real email. Let me see what the rules are here. Okay, no rules. So it's more than likely because it's not a real email. And there's no follow-up date. Yeah, so it's not a real email address, so that's why. But theoretically, what we would be able to do is select it and then unenroll them. So, and the reason that's important is because if we know we have a response, like let's say I go here and I say email first attempt response received needs a consultant, right? Whatever it may be, I could use this to record that I've received a response, but at the same time, and we're going to have this, email record as well, but there needs to be some kind of communication or some kind of record of the email. Let's see something here. Whoops. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong one. This one. Oh, you think you got it. You think you got it. I could create a task that says to mark whether the email was response was received from the email. I mean, I would assume that if they send out an email and a response was received, that they would know it. Unless they want to be told, hey, this email was sent out. Don't forget to review the record. Right? Because I know that on attempt number 3, the task will be to do this immediately. Actually, let's say another 2 days, 2 business days. 2 business days. I mean, opened, clicked, bounced, received, unsubscribed, either one. Review record. If lead communicative mark set to inactive, right? Because this is the third attempt. If they still haven't responded, that's what they want to do, right? So do this 2 business days after the previous email, review the record. The due date is right away. So we're going to say trigger date plus 0 business days. We'll say high priority. And then you'll want to notify the assignee, but I don't want to be receiving pop-ups. So if lead communication if lead uncommunicative, set to inactive. So we could do something like that on the third attempt, since we know that that's what they want to happen on the third attempt of an email, right? The phone calls are going to be happening 5/9, so that's going to be taken care of through the add-on or through the syncing of 5/9 to CRM. Same thing with the text messages. The phone call is going to be done through this section here, or this section. If it's not recognizing the subform, then that means I would have to do the phone call here, because I'm not able to trigger based off of this. It has to be based off of this. But this, I'm going to keep this anyway to show a record of it. And then same thing here, a task can be created to review the record as well. But so I wonder what happens if because it's going to do the same thing, right? Because their email is bad. So I'm going to enroll them in this one here, but it's a fake email. So, right. Cadence status stopped, unenrolled, right? Last follow-up response failed. I do have, however, a contact I can test this on. Let's see. I think it's this one. Cadences. So let's try this real quick here. So if I said, that was a cadence for the lead, not a. Okay, never mind. That's fine. Okay. So the cadence is what will take care of the email, right? And then, do I have a? Oh, I do have a leads canvas. Oh yeah, okay. I need to work on it, but I was just curious. All right. So cadences will handle the email. They can handle the phone calls from either here or here, but I would recommend here for the triggering. And I think I have a trigger actually already set up, right? Yeah, I do. That was the one I set up for the workflow. Yeah, call outreach. So that will be handled here, because I can't do it here. And then this is the process marking whether it's processed. Now we could set up a trigger for the flyer as well, but the flyer doesn't really provide much here. So flyer sent, date, time, increment flyer count. So send flyer. Yeah. But with every attempt, whether it's the cadence emails, there's going to be a task to review. whether it's the called once or not. It's going to set up another one, and then after the third attempt, it's going to review, right? Review the record. I mean, they're going to know whether they're attempting a third time. So, so I could set up another one that said, call outreach final attempt. And then I can say record action, edit, specific field. I can say what did I call it? Call count. I could say call count. No, I didn't call it call count. Call amount. Call amount. The value is twice. So there's a reason I'm doing this. So call value, call amount value is twice. Next. So all leads, right? So any lead that has the call amount modified to twice is going to create. I can also use workflows to automatically change these as well. But I can say assign a task, or no, scheduled actions. That's what I want. Business days. So I want to wait 2 business days after they call the second time, and then assign a task. Create a task. Final call attempt. Trigger date plus 0 days. Also, I'll keep it high. Third and final call attempt for this lead. So, okay. So, so this will make it to where once it's set to twice, 2 days after, it's going to say call the third and final time, right? And then I, as the user, I'm going to know if I call the third and final time, I'm going to set it to 3 times, and then I'm going to mark as processed, right? But what they're wanting to see is that the flyer was sent. It was sent on the 8th at 12 p.m., whatever that is. They want to see that all these attempts are happening. There's been 2 phone calls. They're in the email outreach. So they're trying several times before marking it as complete, right? And it looks like that's actually their scenario. Yeah, that's all they want for their scenario. Now, a few things that can be done as well is we can use the workflows to trigger different things as well, right? Like marking, what do you call them? Fields. So like if I say, if I called 3 times, no response, if this is set, like I could add another field that says, if this is set to call 3 times and check mark says no answer, then automatically set to processed. And then they could just come in here and add the notes. So where are the notes right now? The notes are at the very top, the cadence, emails, activities, attachments. Okay, yeah, that's fine with me. I like that order, right? So it's not going to look as messy. This can go away easily because I can have the call recorded here, the flyer email here, but I can also add in the email attempts as well. Because, oh no, that's the cadence. So email, text will be handled, text and phone call will be handled with 5.9, but also marking twice. So that's going to start triggering off the automation, right? Hello, feel free to answer or ask questions. I'm just kind of building out based off of a scenario I have, and then just kind of answering questions. So if you have any questions, welcome, feel free to ask. So my scenario, basically, I'm just trying to figure out which triggers would be best for, or what automation would be best for this. So they're not going to have all these fields because this is too much. But I do want to keep it because I want to present the different options. Like, look, you have this option here, you have this option here, blah, 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 right? Let me make sure. So one trigger they have is send a flyer 5 hours after last phone call, right? So we could set up an automation that automatically creates a task or a reminder or something that says to send a flyer 5 hours. And then text one time 2 days after the flyer. Call one time 1 day after the flyer. So, yeah. So they're wanting user details, assign the group for roles, can be random, etc. Intake. So yeah. So it looks like, they want certain ways that these are triggered, right? So with the text messages, what we could do is say, so text 2 times 4 hours apart, call 1 time 24 hours apart. So that would be the same thing here, right? Called once. What we would want is for the task outreach, we would want this to be plus 1 day because they only want 24 hours apart, right? And then and then that's when it's set to once, and then once it's set to twice. Actually, that would be one business day. Actually, this, I would actually take this off, take twice off, because when I set it to once, that's going to trigger this to set up a task to call a second time. And then when I set it to twice, which is the other automation I created, that's going to schedule one to send out a third time. Now, if I set this to once and then send this out, and then I come here again and I say, because they want, this is a call, right? Yeah. So call one time, 24 hours. So send a flyer, send a flyer 5 hours. So I could say last phone call, one time, day after text. So okay. All right. So they're basically wanting to kind of spread this apart, right? Text 2 times, 4 hours apart. Call one time, 24 hours apart. Send flyer 5 hours after last phone call. And then call one time, 1 day after text. So we'd want to create, let's see. I'm trying to think. This rule would be execute for all leads. Text 2 times, 4 hours apart. So we could set that up as a reminder, right? Call one time, 24 hours apart. Send a flyer 5 hours after last phone call. So is it saying send flyer 5 hours after last phone call? So after the second attempt? Because it says send flyer 5 hours after last phone call. Text one time, 2 days after flyer. Call one time, 1 day after text. Done. So what does that mean? So are you saying after the second phone call or the second call? Because I could set this to say action 1 business day and then set up a task to send out the flyer. Right. So I'm trying to think this through here. All right, I'm going to take a quick break. I'll be right back. I don't know how to put a BRB. Da, 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 da. One sec here. I'm confused about something. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Bear with me 1 second here. All right. So, anyway, so we've gone through a lot of the automation setups and things like that. I'm going to kind of think this through in my head because there's a few things going on here. But I will be back. What time is it? 12:14. I'll be back and see what I can figure out on this thing. So, and then we can create the triggers based off of their workflow. But I kind of need to break apart their workflow because there's some parts that are a little bit confusing on their workflow. So let's see. All right. Well, okay. Let's see, because they are going to send out the text messages, right? So let's say, where's my guy? Did I lose? Oh, all leads. That's why. All right. So, I mean, they're planning on texting. The texting is going to be done inside of Five9, but if they want to create a trigger, they will need to either mark it natively here or use something like Flow, Zoho Flow. But I don't have an integration with Five9 to show that. But because, or I could, just create another drop down that says, like, let's say I create another section like while on call, right? Outreach attempts. Drop down for text messages, first text sent, second text sent, call 1 time, right? Called twice, called first time, first call, right? called once, called twice, flyer sent, text 3 days after, right? 2 days after. So third text, third and final call. So I feel like this is going to have to be its own section because there's a lot of triggering. So the call and the text are going to be done in 5.9, right? And unless they're using Zoho Flow, they're going to have some type of triggers. Now we can set up the when they send a flyer and do a call and things like that based off of the drop downs. Um, or we could set up checkboxes as well in a whole new section. So this is one way of doing it, but I don't think this is going to be sufficient for them because they do want that automation to trigger, right? Are defined above, like the above using. I feel like I want to take a break and then start over on this. Okay, so I won't start over, but no, yeah. Okay, I'm just going to create a whole new section. So I'll be back with a second live here. So if you want to come back, you can. But I'm going to come back, and I think I'm going to go a different route with this because of the integrations that is possible with like Zoho Flow and triggering things like that. But unfortunately, I don't have access to 5.9 because it's not one of ours. But that's ultimately how I think they may want to do it. But if we were to do it natively without any add-ons, we'd want to set up checkboxes and drop downs for those triggers, and then go from there. But all right, well, we will see you here in a few hours where I will continue brainstorming this and move from there.